She was always standing there, always standing with those long talon-like fingers pressed against her hips, her withered look of disapproval pulsing like a hemorrhage, a sleek green vein popping out the side of her neck. My mother, standing at the mouth of the walk-in utility closet, hovering over me, my pants half pulled down with my best friend Bill pushing at my ass with an empty syringe he got from a toy doctor's kit. This is how we played doctor. It was our version of I'll show you mine if you show me yours. But why, oh why, was I always the one that was showing mine? Why the fuck didn't Bill ever get caught showing his bare ass? Why wasn't he on his belly exposed, compromised, and vulnerable in front of his homicidal mother? Why was I the one caught, time and time again, humiliated with my ass hanging out of my pants? Why was it always me that was the patient and never the doctor? As a little girl, admittedly, I was adorable, easily succumbing to the peer pressures of being desirable, a budding little dyke to be, irresistible to the neighborhood boys, similar yet different enough for them still to be able to sexually objectify, with adorable, round, ballooning, chubby cheeks, with greasy brown hair matted to my tiny peanut head that I steadfastly refused to wash, that stiffened under the weight of the Texas sun, a mix of my own oils and outside contaminants that smelled like something deep and satisfyingly gamey, coming from the very bowels of the ditches that I spent most of my days exploring with an exceptionally large twig that I ripped out of some dying tree. I was a tomboy. I climbed trees. I spit on sidewalks. I chased our dog. I rode our dog. In general, I terrorized our dog. A poor pup, if ever there was one, this wretched little runt my family picked up in some puppy farm with collie eye, inferiority complex, and a tenacious herding instinct that caused her often to be hit by cars. Repulsive me, this butch, oversexed 5-year-old girl, assaulter of dead trees, abuser of helpless animals with collie blindness. Oh, horny little me, I humped any sharp edge I could wrap my skinny little legs around. But me, with my dirty knees and my crusty scabs, my little body as translucent, as pale as a ghost, and blistered by the sun, I was the object of desire for every nose-picking boy tyke that would eventually come out to be a preacher or a hairdresser. The congenital patient, locked in darkness, conspiring in closets, head dusted with unused overcoats, my stomach impaled on a bed of my mom's discarded shoes, their once sleek forms assaulted by my mother's raging bunions, and oh, what bunions! Like a tiny rugged mountain range, a little flesh-covered slice of Appalachia mounted on each side of her foot. And there I was, with my pants pulled down around my hips, my best friend Bill poking at my ass with a syringe, which really begs the question, who packs an empty syringe into a kid's doctor's kit? How fucked up were the 70s? Who gives a child a syringe? What were they trying to do, train us for heroin addiction? But I'll admit it was thrilling. The poking, the prodding, the syringing, my bare ass out in the open, the breeze from the central air blowing across it like a gentle spring wind. We were 5 and this was sex. And my mommy, for that's what I called her then, my long, lumbering, willowy mommy, stood above me, my neck half turned up in abject terror, Bill already out the door, the bedwetting little freak, running out the door to be welcomed hopefully with a spanking from his own homicidal mother, because that's what parents did back then. Thank you, spare the rod and spoil the child and any of its proponents. There's a special place in hell for you, and I hope you're in it. And I hope it's an S&M club and that every safe word you utter gets the devil to hit you even harder. Left alone to face my fate, my shame, and my mommy, my big long mommy, who I love more than anything in the world, probably because she was an excellent player of peekaboo in my infancy, who I would, during Sunday Mass, bury my face in the crook of her arms, shielding myself from the boredom of it, reveling in her warmth, or maybe just to avoid the off-key utterances of bad Catholic chanting. She, that I so desperately wanted to please, but couldn't help but continue to disappoint, would tear up upon seeing me splayed on the closet floor. Her sing-song East Texas twang unleashed like a dagger. What are you doing? What the fuck did it look like I was doing? Really? How was a 5-year-old to explain this? What vocabulary did I have for this? I was humping toy chest at 3, fantasizing about Minnie Mouse. How the hell did I know? It's doctor. It's natural. It's what little kids do. But bless her overly selective, devout little Catholic heart, East Texas Catholic, a total oxymoron at that time, suspect in a largely Protestant bucktooth congregation, one of the few children in that town whose mother didn't marry her first cousin, little fuckers all of them, mean as snakes, an unrelenting town, a stupid town, a small town, dry as a desert, much to my bourbon-drinking grandfather's chagrin. And then I'll start with the next scene where she's around 13. And if life wasn't bad enough, then there was the thrall of my lesbian pre-adolescence, Bambi Geraldo. A 16-year-old girl who had flunked out of Robert E. Lee High School was found lounging nude next to a dented kiddie pool in her backyard by my libidinous best friend Bill and partner in doctor play from the splintered ledge of my backyard fence. "I can't never see nothing on that fence," Bill had confided in me achingly the day before. "Someday I'm going to go in." For myself, I wouldn't have stepped foot in that yard. It was a steamy bed of tetanus, rabies, malaria, chiggers, the bubonic plague, and leprosy, I was sure of it. There were splintered wooden boards with rusted nails sticking out of them. They had chewed up dog bones, and they didn't even have a dog. All there for someone like me to impale their foot upon. They had jangling crucifixes dangling from hanging pots with dead plants in them. There was even a 4-foot-high, cracked Jesus figurine posed in what I assume was once a feeble attempt at a garden. And not only was the yard disgusting, it was sacrilegiously disgusting. Like if God were ever to see Bambi Geraldo's satanically tainted backyard, he would have immediately smited her for it. And what I couldn't get over was how anyone could let their yard get that bad. Not that ours was immaculate. Our side lawn had literally become a toilet for our dog, yet we occasionally ran a lawnmower. We weeded. We pushed our patio furniture in the garage when it rained. And we did not have religious relics rotting away outside our house in our forgotten garden, inviting something wrathful to happen to us or possibly our neighbors. And even if it was just a shitty statue, how can you let Jesus crack? My grandmother, my mother's mother, had literally a wall of crucifixes lined in her hallway. And at 13, when I had the misfortune of being sent there for a girls' weekend, my own personal penance and hell, she had me polish them within an inch of my life with pledge until I couldn't help but equate a springy, fresh lemony scent with the crucifixion of Christ. So I couldn't understand this lack of care, this lack of attention, this lack of respect. His face was peeling off. The crown of his head was covered in bird shit. He had only one arm. He looked like an angelicized zombie. I was scared to death of this Jesus, this flawed facsimile of Jesus, this deified version of Jesus, that I couldn't help but think that one look at Bambi's nude body would render me a smited, leprous gimp before midnight. Thank you. Thank you.